Carlos Alcaraz is rewriting the story of tennis in 2025. Just 9 days after Taylor Fritz stunned him at the Laver Cup, the young Spaniard struck back with authority, claiming his 8th title of the season in Tokyo. Would you believe he's now chasing numbers that even Jannik Sinner couldn't reach last year? Stay with me, because this isn't just about a victory. It's about a new era of dominance, resilience, and fire. What if I told you we might be watching history unfold right in front of us? Carlos Alcaraz is no longer the rising star of tennis. He is the benchmark. On a cool Tokyo evening, under the lights of the Kinoshita Group Japan Open, the 22-year-old Spaniard proved once again why he is the face of the sport's future. Facing Taylor Fritz, the same man who had beaten him just 9 days earlier at the Laver Cup, Alcaraz delivered his response not with words, but with tennis of the highest quality. A 6-4, 6-4 victory in just 93 minutes gave Alcaraz his 8th title of the 2025 season, his 24th overall, and perhaps more importantly, a surge of momentum that now positions him to chase Jannik Sinner's legendary 73-win season from 2024. Would you believe that at just 22 years old, Alcaraz already has as many tour-level trophies as Alexander Zverev, the man who was once seen as the great hope of his generation? What if I told you, Alcaraz began in his post-match interview, this has been the best season of my life, without a doubt. 8 titles, 10 finals, a record of 67 wins and counting. These aren't just statistics, they are chapters in a story of resilience, of a young champion who didn't begin the year the way he wanted. He admitted to struggling emotionally, fighting self-doubt, and yet, here he stands, not just surviving the pressure of being world number 1, but thriving in it. This Tokyo title also carried a symbolic weight. Just weeks ago, Alcaraz tasted defeat in the Wimbledon final against his rival Sinner, a loss that could have broken his confidence. Instead, it became fuel. Since then, he's gone on a tear, winning Cincinnati, conquering the US Open, and now storming through Tokyo. Can you believe that kind of rebound? What do you think fuels a champion more, victory or the sting of defeat? Against Fritz, Alcaraz was sharp, clinical, and fearless. His forehand averaged a staggering 9.7 shot quality, producing 7 winners to just 4 unforced errors in the opening set. He broke Fritz's serve at the perfect moments, striking with the precision of a predator, even when he rolled his ankle earlier in the week, even when his opponent fought through a strapped thigh and medical timeouts. Alcaraz never wavered. He kept pressing forward, kept dictating rallies, kept reminding the tennis world why he's the man to be. Would you believe that this Tokyo crown also ties him with Zverev for the most tour titles among men born since 1990? It's a staggering achievement for someone so young, and yet for Alcaraz, it feels like just the beginning. I'm proud of myself, he said, but I'm also proud of the people around me who've helped me get here. That humility, that acknowledgement of team, is part of what makes him not just a champion on the court, but a role model off it. Fritz did what he could. He unleashed backhand winners, tried to change the pace, even broke Alcaraz late in the second set to keep hope alive. But the American was playing catch-up all night. Every time he gained a foothold, Alcaraz slammed the door shut. The Spaniard's variety, the forehand rockets, the featherlight drop shots, the fearless net approaches, proved too much. And so, in just under 2 hours, the revenge was complete. The handshake at the net told its own story. Respect between two competitors, but also recognition that Alcaraz had elevated the battle into something Fritz couldn't match on this day. Now the question looms, how far can Alcaraz take this? With 8 titles already this season and the hunger for more, could he actually surpass Sinner's 73 wins from last year? Can you believe that we might see back-to-back seasons in men's tennis that redefine the limits of greatness? Let me know in the comments below. Do you think Alcaraz can break that mark, or will the grind of the season catch up to him before the finish line? History has a funny way of repeating itself. Not long ago, we witnessed the legendary 3, Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, carve their names into immortality. Now in the hands of Alcaraz and Sinner, a new rivalry is shaping up. Every loss is a lesson, every win is a warning shot, and Tokyo 2025 may one day be remembered as the moment Alcaraz took yet another step toward becoming more than just a champion, toward becoming a legend. Carlos Alcaraz has always been a player who thrives under fire, but in Tokyo, that fire burned brighter than ever. Coming off a painful loss to Taylor Fritz just 9 days earlier at the Laver Cup, the world's #1 walked into the Kinoshita Group Japan Open with something to prove. What happened next wasn't just tennis, it was drama, theater, and raw survival. The week began with doubt. In his very first match against Sebastián Báez, Alcaraz rolled his ankle so badly that he wasn't sure if he could even continue. The Spaniard's left ankle was heavily taped, and every step looked uncertain. Would this be the injury that stopped his momentum? Would his Tokyo debut end before it even began? But like a warrior refusing to surrender, he fought through the pain and somehow grew stronger with every match. By the time he met Fritz in the final, Alcaraz had transformed that injury into fuel. The same man who limped through round 1 was now unleashing forehands measured at a 9.7 shot quality. The same player who questioned his own body was now gunning for his 8th title of the year, chasing Jannik Sinner's record-breaking win tally from 2024. But Tokyo wasn't all smooth sailing. Early in the first set, Alcaraz clashed with umpire Fergus Murphy over a time violation. Fresh off a grueling rally, gasping for air, he barked, "Do you think it's normal that I finish a long point and barely have time to get the balls with no time to rest? You've never played tennis in your life." The world #1 wasn't just fighting his opponent, he was fighting the rules themselves. Fritz, meanwhile, started strong, hammering serves and moving with confidence. Yet midway through the match, disaster struck him as well. A thigh injury forced the American to call for the trainer, and his movement visibly collapsed. What could have been a back-and-forth slugfest suddenly turned into a test of mental toughness. Even against a wounded opponent, Alcaraz nearly lost focus. From a commanding 5-1 lead in the second set, he found himself clinging on at 5-4, 15-30. Can you believe that? The world's top player almost unraveling against a man who could barely push off his leg. And then came the magic. With the match on the line, Alcaraz didn't blink. He produced 3 consecutive drop shot winners, each one riskier, bolder, more audacious than the last. The Tokyo crowd gasped, and Fritz could only watch as the points slipped away. It was the perfect reminder. Alcaraz doesn't just play tennis, he invents it, right there in the moment. When the final ball sailed wide and the trophy was his, Alcaraz sank to the court, not in pain this time, but in triumph. He hugged his team, consoled Fritz, and then, in one of the most cinematic images of his young career, reached for a pair of scissors. Right there courtside, he cut away the heavy tape that had held his ankle together all week, as if shedding the burden of doubt that had haunted him. 8 titles, 10 finals, 24 career trophies, and he's only 22 years old. What if I told you this is still just the beginning? What do you think? Are we watching the rise of the greatest player of his generation, or simply the opening act of something even bigger? Let me know in the comments below, because one thing is certain. Carlos Alcaraz didn't just win Tokyo, he conquered it, body, mind, and soul. And so, Carlos Alcaraz leaves Tokyo not just with a trophy, but with a story of grit, resilience, and redemption. From rolling his ankle in round 1 to cutting away the tape in triumph, he reminded us all that champions aren't defined by comfort, but by how they fight through pain. 8 titles this year, 3 straight since Wimbledon. What if I told you this is still just the beginning? Can you believe that? What do you think? Are we watching history in real time? Let me know in the comments below.